Hello and welcome to the RWBY podcast. I am your host, a longer, darker, more tedious version of an already long, dark, tedious movie that was released in 2017. I am Mediocrity 4.
It is I, high powered. Just like my pot was full of a tomato and meat concoction, these portals sure are full of innocent civilians, and along with the desert that's also filled with innocent civilians that are being attacked by chariots, and Moses is just waiting for he can level up so he can cast part the Red Sea to dab on all those chariots chasing the Israelites escaping Egypt. It is I, high powered.
You said it was I high powered twice, by the way.
I don't care.
We do that a lot.
This episode was so enjoyable that I forgot to be mad about Renora. I'm Dude.
And I, just like characters in this show, live in a place where apparently my entire infrastructure is governed by some sort of weird wish-granting genie with a monkey's paw type personality who is hyper autistic about your exact wording and will cause your internet to go down for no fucking reason every 2 seconds. I'm Coop.
I don't like sand. It's all coarse, rough, irritating. It gets everywhere, just like my motion.
Especially your socks.
This episode. Yeah, it gets in my socks, and it's fucking. Oh my lord! Can't take socks to the beach. Can't have shit.
Yeah.
But no, like I can't. I don't have any pun for you all this week. Dan kind of like just said such a good pun that I'm just like I'm done. I have nothing for this week. I'm soccer card.
Fun and done, Sakla card.
The motherfucker put Yang so long instead of Yang Zhao long. I'm like, fuck
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad because I deleted my Twitter account, mainly because I don't use it. And I can only imagine the shitstorm that is going on in the RWBY Twitter community right now.
It's actually great. No, it's great. There was more shit
Last
for the
week.
previous episode, which is kind of was like I was
Yeah.
kind of like, fucking.
Which, man, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. Absolutely nobody said, "Man, why aren't there any stakes?" When there are still 2 episodes left. Man, it would be really embarrassing if people were going on and on about how like the tension in the show is dead before even the penultimate episode came out. Man, that would suck for
But
whoever
RWBY.
for anybody who did that.
But media, there is no sick. We know they're coming back. Why didn't they do this stupid stuff in the episode? They should have done this and this and this, just like my fanfiction.
Well,
Hey,
I mean,
I have to vibe check everyone right now.
What the fuck are you guys talking about?
I have no idea what they're talking about, but I'll tell you what they're talking about out of some bullshit that I made up for no reason, just cause. So clearly, clearly, some sort of people are worried about RWBY not having like decent enough stakes in its storytelling, and that has been remedied by this episode. And so now,
We don't know that though. She's probably not dead.
well,
I was gonna say-
It's not so much the stakes
Okay.
about Yang. We're not talking about Yang here in this.
Yeah,
We're talking about like the
yeah,
actual
yeah.
Are you
civilians.
talking about the fact that like they killed like 100 civilians in this episode?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
I
that's
actually
like-
decided so
that's-
good, simply for the
that was
on-screen
the
civilian
best-
deaths.
That was the best part of this episode.
So it's
see,
just like
but-
down B.
And I was like, seriously, when I saw that, I was like, fuck yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That cements this volume as being darker than volume 3, because volume 3, like, a lot of bad stuff happened at the end, but it was all kind of like quarantined into Beacon Academy and places where there were huntsmen and nobody else. Like Huntsman Academy students, Grim, robots, no civilians in sight.
Yeah, outside the actual combatants, like the most you
Hey,
say about anything
and-
else is like stuff. Like, it's like a few civilians on a rooftop with a Death Stalker in Volume 3.
And they
Y'all
and they
want me to
killed- they
vibe check
killed-
y'all real quick?
They killed Jacques so fucking casual.
Hold on, before we get any further, high powered and Sock were not here last week, so
Oh,
I want to
yeah.
give them a few minutes to share their thoughts on last week's episode.
You want
Just to get everything caught up.
This is my thoughts on last week's episode. Last week's episode is a worse version of this week's episode.
Yeah, I would agree on that actually, because like the things I complained about
They
in last week's
oh,
were actually addressed in this one.
so what they did with this episode is, so we had two Ocean's 11, oh, this is how we did it montages. So we had the good guy montage, and then in this episode we had the bad guy montage.
Perfectly done.
And Watts, it just works. I don't know why, it just works better.
Because Watts is awesome. That's why.
Yep.
Yes.
Todd Howard powers have coursed through the writers over at Rooster Teeth, and they have allowed it to just work.
As I said before the episode, Watts is best girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
I would get me a Watts Dakimakura for sure. Yeah.
He's more deserving of a Dakimakura than anybody else in this show.
Precious mustache with a maid outfit on.
You know who really deserves?
Oh no.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would definitely advise someone out there, I don't know who, to go ahead and see if you can make a custom Dakimakura using a photoshopped Watts and a maid outfit. That would be a real great thing to send to me. I'll give you my address if you just want to fucking put it in the comments of like your email. We can go back and forth on it or whatever. Like, we'll figure it out.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
So, Saki, do you have anything to add to what we discussed about last week's episode?
Not so much that. Just like the fandom is, they're so focused on one aspect that they kind of like lose track of a lot of shit. It's not so much the episode. I was like, because I was like, yeah, everything's going great. There's still episodes to go. It's not. It's like because everyone's just like, oh, this is like the end finale, and it's like I've already like it's like we were told like things were happening like in this volume, like shit was gonna hit the fan. And we've all known this. It's so much the more. It's like the episode was fine. Because I was like, yeah, let them have their moment to shine. Because I know shit's going to go down. Like even if it's one episode or two episodes, like shit's going to go down. How it went was like, all right, this is still visually appealing. They had plans and stuff like that. Whitley proceeds to be like the best support ever because he's just like, oh, I've already got all this shit ready. It's like, okay, I can't believe I go from calling you Shitly to Whitley and be like you're good. I like you. I like the cut of your jib, but it's like I was fine. Sure, Ironwood shouldn't have gone down as easy as he should, but it's already been shown that Headmasters aren't the top shit as they should be. Plus, there was a lot of factors in that fight. The Penny thing still kind of like I'm still a little iffy on because I don't as I posted when the episode aired. I'm not sure how I still feel about it, but we'll have to see how the volume ends before I can actually make a final decision on it. But it's more so just like. Sometimes I hate looking in some of this like reaction stuff.
Sock, I've repeatedly told you to just stop doing it then.
Yeah, I know, but I can't help myself.
Look. To be fair, Sock, I couldn't help myself either. It took me having a false DMCA claim filed against my Twitter account for no reason for me to be helped, but it did help. And I was like, okay, cool. And now I've got my alt account up where I just follow around some random-ass artistry bullshit.
Your doppelganger from the fifth dimension.
I mean, look, sometimes I do occasionally, very rarely, duck back into some things with the exact same avatar and profile pic. And for some reason, nobody remembers me. So I think I've gone back below radar again, like I was previously comfortable doing.
He's got his ghillie suit on.
So, what's interesting to me is that I obviously do not engage with the overall fandom at all. I used to. I certainly do not now.
Yeah, it's a little wonky. Like there are really good like and like like logical like discussions, and then you just have like certain like replies to those, and it's just kind of like. Cascades into like Malding. It's just like watch. Half the people didn't even watch the episode. It's like, but in the TLDR is really like yes, as High Powered said, this is literally just part one to this episode, this current week's episode being a part two.
I mean, to be fair, like if they just aired both of those episodes, this week's episode and last week's episode at the same time, like you could watch them back to back.
Yeah.
Well,
It would
I'd
probably
say
be
that
pretty good.
I would say that it like maybe if it was not not necessarily like a back-to-back watch of it. I think if they had edited in some of the scenes and together in a different way and then woven those two episodes into one single like long episode, I think I would have liked it a lot better than the previous episode
Which is
we
kind of
had.
hard. Which is kind of like hard to do because like
It is super
they go for
difficult.
15 minutes at a very base, and anything else is extra. But when
Yeah, I know.
it's really
I
surprising when
know.
we get like
But
those really long ones.
the thing is, my point was when I was talking about the fandom was that like I don't talk with the fandom at all, but I actually was one of the people saying that there weren't any stakes anymore this volume. I was complaining about that, and I guess I'm glad that I was wrong because that was one of
Yeah.
my biggest complaints with them getting rid of Salem this volume so easily. Like I know
Well, you
she's supposed to still be a threat, but I was thinking like where I did say everything happened last week to her easily. I liked the episode last week, but everything was too easy. And I was
and
and I'm like, okay, they raised the stakes back up again this episode, and you know what? Thank you. I'm glad. I'm happy to be wrong about that. Thank you for fucking shit up. Like, thank you for literally like how many fucking civilians did they kill? Like, they just did
So
they like
many.
not like triple the death count of this entire series in that one episode in one scene, basically?
Yeah.
Pretty
I,
much, and
I
it was
I'd
great.
wager on that. Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, like, now I see, like, because it helps for the suspense of this episode too. Because at the end of the episode, you got all those fucking things they're starting to attack people in the desert, right?
The
And it's like,
Ravagers, what they're
oh
called.
Yeah,
shit!
they're called
And now
Ravagers.
Yeah, they were
and
called
now I
Ravagers from the
actually,
book.
and now I actually think, oh yeah, they're probably not going to save everybody. A lot of those people are probably going to die.
Yeah, because we
Cool.
don't. Because we're in
You
fucking
know?
vacuum. The vacuum fucking sucks.
Yeah. so
Welcome
it's like,
to the
that's
desert,
good.
motherfucker.
I don't blame Sun for going to Mistral.
Yeah.
I like all of that, you know what I mean? So that's all very, very good. And it's funny because like I was like I had to watch the episode a couple times because I was like all out of it. I got my COVID vaccine on Friday night,
Okay,
and I was pretty well my first shot. I was pretty fucked up yesterday. It took me 3 hours of being awake to remember. Oh yeah, RWBY episode's out today. I should probably go watch that.
Yeah.
But I'm
I
glad
would.
I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I remembered because this was actually good. Thank you for
Yeah.
The whole
mistakes.
yeah, the whole idea of this episode, and it's actually in the description on the Rooster Teeth website. It's the best laid plans ... as in the Robert Burns quote, "The best laid plans, O mice and men, often go awry," which was also the quote that inspired the John Steinbeck novel of Mice and Men. Yeah, the last episode was the plan. They formulate the plan and they start to execute it, but then a couple things go wrong here, and it's not a whole lot of things going wrong. It's Cinder finding out about their plan because of the relic of knowledge, attacking them inside the pocket dimension, people going out of into vacuo, not being able to come back in to warn people that there's a storm and that there's Grim on the other
Oops.
side of that portal, so they can't communicate back and forth. The people who can fix the portal don't know that the portal needs to be fixed, and those who know the portal needs to be fixed can't get word out to the person who can fix it. And it's just everything that could go wrong with this plan is starting to go wrong, and things will work out, but at what cost? Like, how many people are they going to lose before the sandstorm clears, or before Penny gets knocked through that vacuo portal, can't come back, and it's like, oh crap, I should clear the sandstorm? Or there's a ton of different ways this could go out where the heroes are going to live, and of course the heroes are going to live. Like, Yang, she's gonna be fine. Her
Hey,
initial
let me vibe
title-
check y'all real quick about Yang. Y'all ready
What's
for the
that?
vibe check?
What's this vibe check?
Function
It's
wrong.
simple. Raven just opens a portal and pulls Yang out of the abyss. That's my vibe
I
check.
don't think that's gonna be what happens, because Raven probably has no idea any of this is happening.
Here's the thing. I did think Yang was dead for like a second, and then I was like, eh. Problem is, like, it's like the number 2 trope in the universe, okay? In the world of like anime and animation. If you do not see them hit the ground and die, then they're not dead.
Yes.
We did not see her
And
hit the ground and die.
And
so
it's the
she's
same.
not
And it's the
dead.
same rule in literature. If someone falls off a cliff, the author doesn't explicitly write that, you know, that they splattered on the rocks or that like they had a sword ran through them, there's a chance that they're alive.
Yeah. I hope she's dead. I think it'd be better. She's the worst character in the fucking show right now. Yes, even worse than Blake. She is the worst character in the show.
Yes.
Even worse than Oscar now. It's that bad. She's that bad. So
Double gasp.
I hope she's dead. She's probably not.
She's a main
But
character.
my like the one thing that was making me hope that she was dead was the only exception to the rule of if you don't see them die, they're not dead, was Harry Potter. When Sirius died, he went through the portal thing and he was dead.
I mean, like, it was a portal of death, and people were like, yeah, you go through this portal, you're gonna die, kinda. And then we were like, oh yeah, that's a death portal. If you touch it, it's probably not great. And then he touched it, and he was like, yo, Harry, I'm fucking dead, bro. See ya. I gotta go smoke weed in heaven.
That's the closest thing to an exception. It's the one thing I'm thinking of. What I think they're going to do actually is obviously based on Blake's reaction. They're going to use it as the impetus for Bumblebee. Let's be honest. That's probably what they're going to do based on Blake's reaction.
Like,
Just
alternate.
finalize it already. Just finalize it already.
Yeah, I mean, probably, like,
You can confirm a ship already, you pieces of shit.
Like, I do not share Dude's opinion on Yang, but like I do agree. It's like just finalize it.
Fucking confirm a goddamn ship, you motherfucking cuntbags.
I wouldn't say that Yang is terrible. Yang has some, like, a lot of the things with Yang are mostly that she's boring more.
Yeah, and
To
that's
me,
kind of worse than being bad for me.
Like, if Yang was more akin to, say, like Harriet right now, I would say, yeah, you're a good thing. Like, I don't particularly like Harriet, but Harriet has gotten some cool stuff to go
Oh
along with
man,
her
I don't think
now.
I would be surprised if they save Yang, but like Winter, Crow, Harriet, like all of those are pretty like up there on their
They're
like percentage chance of dying. Because as soon as that, because the bomb's been armed, as soon as that thing like lands, it's like, fucking Watts is just gonna press the fucking detonate button. He doesn't care.
Yeah. Like,
well, I mean, yeah,
there's no
like,
stopping it. Watts is like he's just giggling.
unless they just, you know, decide to ignore all the writing advice that Alfred Hitchcock ever gave, that bomb is probably going off at some point. Like,
well, the question is, it's not going to be exploding in Mantle because he turned it around towards Atlas. I think, didn't he?
it could certainly airburst or be detonated safely, but like, I would highly doubt that Harriet is going to be able to survive it at all. Like, I don't see how that would happen, and hopefully they take Robin out with them.
I kind of want Robin to survive just because Crow just needs to like get married and settle down.
Maybe, but not with her. She does not deserve Crow, even though Crow is kind of shit right now too. And I don't particularly like the way they've done certain stuff with him. There's like a bunch of things. Like, as far as that scene goes, like, the only thing I would really point out about it is that, like, okay, apparently Harriet, the girl that said she didn't like anybody on her own team, actually had a crush on the leader the whole time that she just never revealed in any even subtle way that we could have pointed at and been like, oh, Harriet has a crush on Clover. That maybe that'll come up later.
I have
But
a feeling
like,
this was stuff that like or other people were calling. It's like, oh, Harriet was probably trying to get the D from what's his name, or did.
like, I wouldn't say that it was like a called thing. I would say that it is something that they looked back on as like a proper motivating factor for her after it was too late to introduce it as one. And so they have tried to introduce it too late.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Like there are certain things in the show that they failed to put forth in the actual show. Like that. Like that's the information we need.
RWBY and retcon are basically synonymous at this point. Like, you cannot say one without having the other in the same sentence almost.
Unfortunately.
And like, this is like a very small slight one, and you could even go so far as to make like the devil's advocate argument that oh, she always was like this, but they just never showed it. But like them having never showed it basically does mean that they only just put it in now.
The
So
basics
like
of
there's
Harriet were like, no, we are coworkers, nothing else, and running.
and
And
like
actually, we were banging the entire time.
like I said before, with the whole Nora apparently has extremely low self-esteem thing, this needed to be introduced as an earlier thing. This should have happened in Volume 7 when we first met Harriet, almost. We should have been like, okay, this is Harriet. Harriet hates everybody on her team except for the leader of her team, who she actually likes a whole lot, but secretly and has not told him yet. And here are some slightly less than subtle hints about it. Like literally all they would have to do is just have her like be oddly nice towards him and look at him in as though he is an alluring figure, individual and stuff, in order to have this scene with her here work a little bit better. They didn't do that before because they probably didn't think about doing it until just now.
Yeah, probably. I can agree with that.
It wasn't such like a huge, massive contradiction of something that believable that I outright hate what they did with it. It's a decent enough motive for her to be doing the stuff that she's doing right now. I just wish it had come earlier.
I mean, it's still
that's exactly the problem. It's a
Yeah.
huge problem. That this is slightly better than the Renora thing because it's at least good in the moment, right?
Well,
and it's not very specific. It's not like
yeah.
It's not stated that it's romantic. It's just like he was just
Yeah.
special.
Yeah,
In
I
the
was about to.
moment,
I was
it's
about.
not. In the moment, it's not terrible like the Renora thing. Because like the
Yeah.
Renora thing is bad in the moment, and it's bad for the precedents because, like I said, they didn't bring it up before, so it makes no fucking sense.
Well, in the
This,
Renora case, it's far worse because these are
yeah,
much bigger characters in the
mhm,
story, and
yeah,
they have been around for such a long time that
yeah,
they had
and
multiple opportunities to introduce this
yes,
earlier.
and you have exact evidence to the contrary. You have evidence that
Yeah.
specifically contradicts what they're trying to do now. But you're right in that it is kind of similar in that if they wanted to make this really good, which they could have, this could have been really interesting if we had gotten more of this previously. And it wasn't that hard. I mean, they could literally just do to Harriet how they treated Emerald and Cinder earlier. You know what I mean? That with Harriet and it's not that
That
hard. It would
actually,
not have taken much time. You know?
yeah, that actually does segue well into another thing about this episode that I am somewhat reticent about. I won't say I outright hate it because they've got one episode left, I believe, and they could hash it out there, but Cinder has showed up to the plan of evacuation. Emerald was there. Emerald and Cinder never really interacted.
I think they will. I think they're saving that because they did give us that little hint that that might happen. They did do the they did like
Yeah.
have Cinder pause on Emerald, which I'm glad they at least did that. Now, if they do that, but she doesn't actually, they don't interact, then then it's a missed opportunity. But I'm assuming they will do that next because I can't see them.
I don't know. I don't know because Emerald is in Vacuo. Emerald is in the Vacuo squad right now. So unless Cinder, unless the portal gets
Cinder
fixed,
dies.
or unless the portal gets fixed or Cinder gets into Vacuo, that interaction isn't going to happen.
I mean, like,
they could be able, but what they're doing, I believe, is giving Emerald more time with the heroes because she's to more like kind of solidify certain aspects of her like face turn.
That's like a double-edged.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be a double-edged, but it's like it's still like that's what I see it happening is like Cinder's not gonna be with the meeting Emerald until like next volume or whatever.
I do think they need to interact. So if that's the case, that is a big missed opportunity, and I would agree with Coop that that's a big problem. We've already talked about that last week and the week before.
Like,
I think, too.
like, really, the sooner they address this before Emerald throws in too many chips with Ruby in the gang, the better. Because, like, if she has solidified her stuff, then that actually has a negative effect later on, to where there will be no tension of her maybe returning back to the fold of Cinder.
Yeah, and I think there should be that
fair,
that like
fair,
like fair. Like Emerald needs to think about it and especially if like kind of Yang off the table now, it's even tougher to because she said no obviously to Salem, but she hasn't said no to Cinder.
Yeah,
so that's kind of the important thing right now.
Ambrosius is cool. You know what? Forget it. I complained about monkeys pawing people before, but then you know what? Ambrosius, you did it good. Like you
I gave
monkeys
you what
pawed
you
them
wanted. What do you want
efficient.
from me?
I mean, it's Weiss's fault for going off script.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Weiss really is just terrible at saying words and
So
stuff.
you're saying that Weiss is responsible for Yang's potential death?
Well, no, because because what Weiss said had nothing to do with what happened
Yeah,
to
I was
Yang.
gonna say that's separate completely.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what Weiss is responsible for Oscar not dropping in and being like, "Oh, shit's fucked. Oh, shit's fucked over here too. Crap. We should probably consolidate our forces on one front and then close the portal temporarily or something."
I mean, the thing is, how much difference is it might at the end of the day, is it really making that much difference? They're still probably better off in Vacuo.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the most logical
okay,
thing right now is like just get
right
to the
now,
other side, because then it goes a battle royale between RWBY, Blake, and Weiss versus Cinder.
well, no, like the main thing, and this is what Oscar was trying to do when he went face first into the portal, is that Penny can make the storm disappear. They are close enough to Vacuo to where they could actually see Vacuo if not for the sandstorm. Like you get rid of the sandstorm, you get communications back up, you get eyesight backed up, you can actually see where the Grim are coming from and can actually target them and stuff. Like they need to get rid of that sandstorm. That is priority number one for Oscar. And Penny's the only one who can do that. Like that was Oscar's
Okay,
priority. That was what he was trying to go back to do.
going off that assumption, or is it an assumption? So the thing is that like a lot of people have kind of brought up the thought of why is it that this direct ticket to Vacuo isn't just like directly in the city? And
For all we know, it is. For all we know, they are smack dab in the middle of the city, but they can't see more than 3 feet in front of them.
No, you can tell. No, it's not that. You
Well,
can
it's
see
yeah,
way farther than that. There's no city that looks like that. They are not in the middle of a city.
Like,
They might be
so
like the
outside.
best way would be.
There's no way in
yeah.
hell they're right in the city. That makes no
Yeah.
sense.
I would
It's
say
more
at best,
okay.
like they're literally like on the landing. Like I would say that the best equivalency of this would be is where they ended up in Vacuo is the equivalent of where Patches to Vale.
I would say that that's maybe where it's at. I would also say that this is a difficult thing to figure out because the quote unquote kingdom of Vacuo and the city of Vacuo, while being named the same thing, may very well
But they would have
not.
had coordinates. Well, Weiss, they would have had needed coordinates in order to get the portal at all.
Would they?
So why would Weiss put coordinates of anywhere more than a couple 100 feet from the city's walls?
This seems like a very viewer problem for us right now
Did
because it's like
did they? Did they? I would have to go back to the previous episodes to see where these coordinates were at, or if they did actually proffer them. And and also in the technicalities of the thing, even had they offered up coordinates for it, it is possible that just like the Ambrosius could have heard Weiss's, asking for the portals and just gone off of what she specifically asked without any offering up of them. Because I remember they offered up blueprints, but
the
and I might be
blueprints of
wrong
like
about
Alice.
Weiss also offered up coordinates for all the Atlas portals.
Okay, so she had coordinates for the Atlas portals.
At the very least.
Presumably,
And
pres-
Ambrosia, before they even do the portals, Ambrosia says, "I need coordinates for everything."
okay, so presumably she also offered up Vacuo coordinates.
That's
Now,
why I think That's why I think they're right outside the city, because I don't think she would want to put them in the city immediately. I think that'd be a bad idea.
You could obviously tell that no one on Rooster Teeth like ever was in the Boy Scouts or in the U.S. military, because if they knew the exact map grid that they were landing on and had a compass, they could be like, "Yeah, we need to walk that way," and they'd be fine.
I mean, yeah, well, to be fair, they wouldn't be fined. Actually, trying to navigate with map grid coordinates is hard as fuck, especially when you're in the woods, because you cannot walk in a straight line in the woods. Period. It is impossible. You can attempt to do it, it will not work.
The tree is in my way. Do I go around it? Do I go over it? Do I go under it? Do I go through it?
Coop, stop deflating my fucking balloon.
Okay, like maybe in the desert it kind of works, but then you also have the problem that like there's fuck tons of power lines in the desert, and they actually just fuck up your compass's fucking point of direction.
You're stabbing my balloon with a fucking axe.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's not a balloon. It's a condom. You're just getting fucked. Right now.
Like,
Coop is bending me over a barrel right now, and he doesn't even have. He's not even giving me a reach around or like spit or spat on it before he rammed it in balls deep.
Like, and another thing about it though is why wouldn't they just set the coordinates in like the middle of a large open area in the city, like a square or something, if they have one of those, which presumably they do, and presumably they have the data on, because like. Oh, we don't want to be rude and just show up in the middle of the city. Like you're in the middle of a life or death situation. You want to show up outside of city walls that can protect you so that you'll have to go through potential sandstorms, potential grim, when you know for a fact that Vacuo is a harsh locale. Why would you set those coordinates there? Why would you not set them within the defended location so that it's just more convenient for you? It doesn't make any sense.
But Ren doesn't have John to amp him up for.
Okay, yes, you have Rin. Why would you then not use a thing where you would not need to use him, like at all? You're just placing an additional inconvenience on one guy that you have, when you could just drop him in the city. There's no reason not to just drop them in the city.
Yeah,
you're going to show up.
If they dropped them in the city, the episode wouldn't be as good as we would have liked it to be.
Yeah, there is that, but like, even so, I prefer the natural creation of such tensions rather than the artificial and stupid creation of such tensions. I liked the idea that they were dropped in the desert, but if Weiss gave them like proper grid coordinates and she gave them grid coordinates to a desert full of Grim that would eat people, why would you do that in the first place?
I don't think she gave coordinates for Vacuo. Like,
that's the only
list.
Also, we're getting too much into speculation here at this point.
True. I would have to go back and watch, and I can only say that the only explanation for that is that they are dropped into the general territory of Vacuo and not Vacuo proper. Like and that would require that Weiss didn't give them the proper coordinates to the Vacuo gate.
Yeah, that's why I said this is a viewer problem, because all we have to go is either based on like the two blueprints that she gave him, which is and
Staff of Creation really is a monkey's paw, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a monkey's paw.
And that entire scene is confusing enough as it is, just like right off the bat. So like. I will say this, if they have trouble getting shit properly across to me, that's a them thing. Like, don't treat the audience like they're stupid. Don't treat the audience like they're fucking geniuses either. Treat your audience as though they are people of average intelligence and explain things to them thusly. I just want to understand what the fuck is going on, basically.
Fair enough. Media?
Again, like my main thing about all that is that if Ambrosius required coordinates for all the other portals, why wouldn't he require exact coordinates for that one portal?
That's why I'm saying it's a viewer problem. It's like it's not shown to us, but it certainly is a fair point. But at the same time, it's like I don't know.
maybe look like maybe it was kind of like just Ambrosius trying to actively fuck them over, and he was like, "Yeah, you can give me coordinates to all of these portals, but I got you on the Vacuo one. You don't need to worry about that." I don't know what land nav technology is like on Remnant. Yes, they can give you coordinates to all the Atlas thingies that exist on like a three-dimensional plane because Atlas is like in the sky and also falling out of it currently. And so they would actually have to give like moving coordinates for it. Like, yes, we have determined that Atlas will fall on this exact vector. And so here are the moving coordinates in a time-lapse formula for you, Ambrosius, that we have calculated. Like you want to get super fucking anal about it. We can go into a lot more details that make no fucking sense about what just happened here. Like
This is
Yeah, which is why I don't really get the point of this discussion anyway, to be honest. It's like, okay, they
it's
are where they are, and they're gonna fight Grim. Okay, you know what I mean? I never even really worried about all that.
Dude, the point of the discussion is to pad out the runtime of the podcast.
Well done, sir.
Yes.
God damn it.
So what else? Okay, so let's talk about Watts and all the shit that he does because
Dude,
he just kept on popping up like
girl.
like
Holy
as soon as you think that he's played his hand, he's got a whole nother deck of cards he's pulling from.
He's like,
so
he's like,
whenever
I did
that
not,
door,
I did not like. I predicted that like he, obviously he's the one who hacked the CCT last episode. Obviously he's going to like mess with all the communications and stuff. Obviously, okay, yeah, he's going to unleash Ironwood and have him like wreck some stuff. I did not see him hijacking that ship and tampering with what Harriet was doing.
No, like I'm gonna give Rooster Teeth's production crew credit where credit is due. Is they're definitely flexing their muscle with Watts right now. I mean, whenever the doors slid open to that control room, like Mr. Blue Sky needed to start playing as they pumped up kicks on all the people inside of that office.
Oh God. If they could only have gotten those rights, things
I'm sure someone will make a YouTube video.
Yeah, that would be
R.I.P.
probably.
R.I.P. to
Yeah. Fucking man.
Oh man! Speaking of that, the world's best dad guy from earlier this volume, like it was the same. Yeah, it was the same like control room that RWBY and Co had to sneak past back in like episode 3 of this volume, and it just smash cuts from them like just doing their job to them all just dead.
Yeah, truly a beautiful thing, honestly. Being dead and on fire.
We didn't have 2 scenes of gratuitous death. We didn't have 1 scene of gratuitous death in this episode. We had 2, potentially 3 scenes of gratuitous civilian death in this episode, and that makes me very happy.
I am genuinely.
Yeah, I thought that what was it when volume 3 everything started to go down. It was like, that's when I started to like the show. Like stakes, like, oh, Yang gets really badly hurt, people start dying, blah blah blah, right? And then like all of that kind of went away from the show for like the next 4 volumes. And then all of a sudden, like, you know what? We should probably bring that back. Let's kill a fuckload of people, and if we don't kill Yang, we're gonna fuck her up at least this episode too.
I genuinely.
I just know that if Shovel Mom dies, I will fucking riot. I will yell into Twitter.
All I want is for Neo to like just be texting back and forth with Watts, being like, "Oh my God, you're so cool. Will you please be my new dad, Watts?" And Watts being like, "Yes, yes, my child. I will take you in.
I will take an apple and eat it."
Yes. Everything Watts does is always like 100% the best thing that is happening in the episode.
Is he now officially the consistently best character in this entire series? Because I think he is.
I would say so.
He's up there.
I think he might be.
He's got
never
like
not been good.
Everything
Even
he
in
does
volume
is
5,
just fucking.
he wasn't crap. He was still telling Cinder that she sucked. Even in volume
And
5,
he
he was
was
the best
right.
part.
He
And
was fucking
right.
right.
He's
Yep.
like, come back to me when this fucks up.
He has never not been fan-fucking-tastic this entire show.
Yeah.
For a show that has mediocre at best villains, Watts is hard carrying right now.
And I dug Cinder this episode. Like, Cinder is one of those people that's like bull in a china shop. Like, she's really crazy strong. Her biggest issue has always been that same strength. Like, her strength has actually always been her weakness. She goes in half cocked, big dick energy, and then the second she goes up against someone who can actually take a hit from her, she gets folded like a deck of cards. Like, that's what happened with Raven. That's what happened with Penny earlier this volume. Team RWBY, they're strong, but they're not like, god tier like Raven and Penny are. And even Penny, now that she's
A real
whatever the
girl?
fuck she is,
By the way,
creating like aura blades.
Yeah, she could
Like,
create the blades just like we were worried about.
it's magic. Raven was creating magic swords as well.
Yeah.
I saw something, I forget what it was, but it was like something saying like they were like a fused obsidian and jade type thing, which I found like not right, because that sounds like some cool Mesoamerican shit that is not within the theme of Penny, and I don't want her taking anything cool away from my Aztec lizard boys.
I don't know. I think the coloring could just be her aura thing. I don't know.
One thing I do need to criticize slightly, like, because again, overall, I really enjoyed like almost everything about this episode, pretty much. There's two things that stuck out to me as negative, though. The animation of Yang falling off the ledge was really goofy. Like, the way she bounced looked really fucking lame, and that took away a lot of the seriousness of that scene. I usually don't notice stuff like that. I usually don't.
I am positive she teleported between shots.
Okay, yeah, I just feel like the way they animated that looked really goofy, and that kind of took me out of the seriousness of the moment. And the other thing is, God, Jessica Negri really still can't fucking voice act to save her fucking life, and it's really bad. And it did take away some of the Cinder stuff. I just noticed, like, throughout this entire episode, like, her conversation, well, not conversation, but like when she was with Neo and Watts, and like when she was trying to bargain with Neo, you could just tell, like, it just sounds really fake. And that just kind of takes away some of the impact of Cinder still. I always notice stuff like that, but I did notice both of those things. Although otherwise, like I said, it's still a really good episode. There's just a couple like tiny things that I think.
Listen, she can't listen. She's not trying to voice act. She's trying to play Smash Brothers with civilians and doing a down B special. All right, just let her be.
Why do you gotta do civilians dirty like that?
There's not even that many good down Bs in Melee. It's basically she plays Fox and Falcon and uses Shine all the time.
I honestly don't get why Jessica Negri is up for fucking coin so bad. She already has what is basically a VTuber model rendered up for her ready to go in the form of Cinder. Why does she not just use that? Come on. Stop being a regular Twitch thought. Start being a VTuber Twitch thought, Jessica. You'll make more money that way and be better.
Can you imagine, like, Cinder being a YouTuber?
Cinder plays Minecraft!
Dude, they would do it too also. I would not be surprised if it would be like for what their like extra live stream that they do or whatever. Is like, yeah, Jessica Nigiri's gonna do a fucking VTuber stream.
I'll be okay with this. I'm okay with this. I'll send.
Yeah, Stock, I imagine you of all people who has a fucking Gargura PFP right fucking now would be okay with this. Yeah, I don't see you fucking saying anything negative.
A Gargura hoodie. There's a difference.
Very slight difference there, Stock.
Listen,
you are tilting over the edge right now, man.
Well, oh god, because a lot happened in this episode, but like a lot of it went by so fast. So let's talk now about. We already talked about a bit about Harriet, but Vine trying to talk sense to her. I kind of like that, even though like I don't give a shit about Vine. Vine is by far the most boring member of the Aesops.
don't think he's meant to be the most boring, but like I'm still surprised like it was him instead of like because like if you look at like how kind of the Aesops were like kind of slowly like one after one, and like you could kind of tell who would be the next to like do something weird or whatnot. It seemed like it was more going to be like Elm than Vine, but
well, Elm has like apparently like a temper. Like Vine is supposed to be like the level-headed one. He's the one who said like maybe this course of action will make the kid see reason twice in the same scene. So like I get that why it's him. It's just I just don't care. And then Robin has to fuck it up by trying to like wreck their ship.
Listen, it's not her
knocking
fault.
and knocking Vine like out when he's like trying to talk sense to her, which gives Harriet the opportunity to like arm the bomb, and then Crow like flies into them and it's like, you know,
I
feel like there are other priorities that need to be dealt with.
The priority is them stopping that bomb. That's what they.
Hopefully the priority is just detonating that bomb with all of them within the blast radius of it. I don't want any of these people to exist anymore. They're constantly just taking up screen time with dumb shit, and I don't like it. If Crow had at least had the decency to die in Volume 4, none of this would be happening now. I would be far more appreciative of him. Like,
oh yeah,
and that's
Crow was in this episode. God, who fucking cares about Crow? Can he just die already? I've been saying that for so long.
If the bomb takes like Crow and all them up in there, like I kind of won't be that mad.
That's what I see.
Happy. Not even would I not be mad. I'd be active. I'd be specifically happy.
I'll tell you this much. I would be extremely happy because then I could probably create some form of betting pool over how many people are going to say that they killed Crow before they should have because they were queer baiting him for like some reason, and that this was a bury your gays thing, and actually Crow was a fucking homo the whole time.
Despite showing less sexual attraction to Clover than Harriet has.
That's not very fair of you, Coop.
Oh, is it not very fair? I'm tired of being fair, Sock. Okay, I gave you too many chances. Okay, but yeah, you.
What?
No. Hold on.
What?
What do you mean, what? I put you on in the morning, I wear you all day to work, and yet you still get rocks inside of you. Okay? What do you mean, what chances did I give you?
Watch where you're walking. They say left, right, left. Doesn't mean you have to walk.
So yeah, like fucking kill Harriet, even though I do somewhat like her a little bit more in this episode. Kill Vine because he's worthless, and he's like, maybe kids will listen to reason while following around an obvious madman that is not using any form of reason whatsoever. And then Robin has reason and Robin have never even occurred in the same sentence. I don't even know that she knows the word.
Unironically, Elm was about to talk Harriet down until Robin fucking rammed her ship into that ship.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I can't really.
and Crow is just.
It did happen.
Crow has just been utterly useless for so long. He
really has been. It's kind of impressive how fucking useless he's been for so long. Why is he still in this show?
What was ever the purpose of him?
I dug him in Volume 7, but like his stuff was very much isolated from everything else going on.
I didn't even like him in Volume 7. I stopped liking him in Volume 4. He started to go down on my list even because he was just like guiding the kids so much in Volume 4. Like he also was part of that exposition dump in Volume 4, which is the worst part of Volume 4 besides the Blake arc.
Yeah. The only thing he really offered up was that he gave like pretty decent advice and stuff in Volume 3. If anything, in Volume 4, he didn't guide the kids enough. Like him, like just monitoring them from the background was kind of dumb. And the reveal of And the reveal of his stupid Lux semblance was dumb.
Yeah,
as
and
an
then in
excuse for that.
And then starting in volume 5, he started to become really fucking useless.
It was hyper useless in Volume 5. In Volume 6, the show became self-aware of his uselessness and was like, yeah, you're useless. We're not going to listen to you for any reason anymore. In Volume 7, he's tagging along behind the fucking kids, not doing anything, being useless, and he's like, well, I'm useless to these kids. I can't really do anything for them. Why don't I just go off over here to the side and have my own deal that's going on the entire time that has no effect on anything major?
It made more sense with Drinker.
And then in Volume 8, he was like, let me be imprisoned for half this volume and then get out and do nothing and then cause some more random bullshit with this chick I just met who also caused random stupid bullshit before in the previous volume that
So
everyone
what you're saying,
hated.
Coop, is that Crow needs to die.
Yes. Yes, please. Please. Just end this fucking suffering. End this misery. For me and him. I don't want it anymore. I'm tired of it.
So speaking of misery, Ironwood, for me this was just a continuation of what I haven't been liking about Ironwood the last few episodes, which is, like, why even waste the ammunition killing Shock? Like that was done for pure shock value and no other reason.
Yeah,
Like that has
shock
nothing to
value
do
and
with
spite.
that has nothing to do with any of the plans he's ever come up with. Like, this is the guy who spared Watts because he thought Watts was useful, and then Jacques is like stuck in a prison cell and he's just going to waste ammunition wiping him out for just cuz.
Like, what even is his plan at this point? What even is Ironwood trying to accomplish now? He apparently decided to head down towards a vault he knows to be empty. For what? To get into a fight with Winter, actually, now that I think of it, why the fuck was Winter down at the vault?
Because that's where she
That's
knew
a good question.
That's where she knew Weiss was last, or something. She's trying to get communication. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
she was trying to get to Weiss, and she was gonna like go through whatever portal they went to get into the pocket dimension.
Yeah, that's right. Because there's a portal there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So she goes down to the vault to get into the portal to the pocket dimension that Ironwood does not know about because presumably there hasn't been a broadcast of the pocket dimension being opened to the prison cell
No.
in which Ironwood is in. So Ironwood decides to go down to the vault in order to maybe intercept the people that have used the staff, perhaps.
Well, I mean, the portal is on the stairway to the thing, so like, he's gonna make assumptions as soon as he got down there. That's why he was like, "Let me through."
I guess yes, he would make that assumption, but like him assuming that when he got there makes sense. Him going there in the first place, that would be just like a last place thing at best. He was like, well, they had to be in the vault at one point. I can at least track them from there, maybe.
Yeah.
But even then, like, they've already used the staff. All of the stuff that Ironwood wanted to do is now impossible. So why even bother fighting them or anything anymore at this point? What is even the point of anything that Ironwood is doing now? He's just angry at them for no discernible reason and just trying to follow through on blind rage and just kill people now. And it's
like Ironwood could have literally just sat in his cell and just like went down with the ship, and that probably would have been just a better option. It was like, well, I'm just gonna avoid the Hague, so I'm just gonna die as Atlas hits the ground.
What,
So
like,
I'm gonna play slight devil's advocate here, only slightly. I liked Shock's death because it was so fucking funny. I just thought it was hilarious.
You are right with that.
It was so short and unceremonious and so who gives a shit that I thought it was hilarious. And I kind of liked that because it kind of is an overall part of the episode. It plays into the whole episode of just, look, people are going to fucking die now, okay? We're going to kill some bitches off, all right? And the thing is, it didn't bother me too much because Ironwood's been broken as a character for several episodes now. Does Ironwood still suck? Absolutely. He's still pointless and they ruined him. But they already did that. Like, they weren't going to fix him now. You know what I mean? Like him doing that is not the biggest issue with Ironwood. It's only a symptom of the way he already is. You know what I mean? So
They
that's why
could
it
have
didn't bother me too much specifically.
they couldn't have fully fixed them, but they could have at least, bandaged him up a little. Like they had him be knocked out in an ambush and put in a prison cell to where he could think about stuff. And they could have very well capitalized on that of him in his prison cell being like, you know what, and looking back on all the shit I did, actually all that shit was fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. It was my stupid whatever the fuck hyper Asperger's semblance that led me into that vein of doing stuff. And now that my aura has been broken, therefore nullifying my semblance's ability to function anymore, I have been snapped out of that state and can now properly think again. And I am realizing the error of my ways, and I will now nobly go down with the ship that I was supposed to defend and failed to this whole time, as self-inflicted punishment for my actions.
That's a fair point.
That I would have, yeah, that would have gone over better with me. Him just waltzing out so that they can get in a fight scene with him, which they could have gotten in the fucking ambush scene where he was in. And it would have been a cooler fight scene because there would have been more people as a part of it too. They're making him be mega crazy for the sole purpose of giving Winter a fight scene she could have already gotten through a more logical means that would have played off better. That's all I can think of at this point for it. And it's terrible. Everything in regards to Ironwood has always been terrible. Well, not always, but for the past 2 volumes, pretty
Yeah,
much.
for the past 2 volumes, he's been atrocious.
If he had,
Well, just this volume, I think. Like last volume, I liked him.
He was kind of bad. I think he was kind of bad last volume.
he was good up until the point that seeing a chess piece somehow caused him to lose his shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's when everything went to hell.
What's this? A glass chess piece on my shit? I'm completely batshit fucking insane now because I saw a chess piece.
Well, one thing I want to address, because people are completely like, "Oh, why didn't RWBY just do the Silver Eyes?" RWBY has never been able to just do the Silver Eyes. It's always been like a spur of the moment situational thing. And also, Neo, as soon as like she's lined up against Cinder, Neo ganked her, and she hasn't even looked at Cinder since then. She's been busy tussling with Neo.
You could say Neo was the jungler and she was about to gank top lane, and there's nothing.
Okay. And also, like, anybody who has like fucking defended the because I've seen that there is a different type of defense going on about it of, oh yeah, she tried to use the Silver Eyes because there was like 2 frames in which her eye lighting changed slightly. Like,
yeah, I don't know about that.
That's you're also retarded for saying that. You're just as retarded as the guys you're arguing against. Don't do that. Stop it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of. I think we're ready for like. There's a lot of like little things like Ren running out of his power right before the Grim show up, which I think was a nice detail. Yeah, but I think are we ready for questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, question 1. What the fuck's a question, guys? Like, what even is that? Like,
all right, so
what's the actual question?
Nut Jobification, I think, is trying to ask, are they doing this with Yang in order to set up Bumblebee? And I think we already suggested that as a possibility.
It's a possibility. I can give you other possibilities, though. Could be, since they're headed towards Vacuo, where Sun is at, they could have Sun, like, just consoling Blake over the death to try and get in those pants again. And, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Who knows how this will go down.
I'm of the opinion that with Team RWBY, it's kind of an all or nothing. Like, either they're all going to fall or none of them are going to fall, and none of them are going to fall. That ship done sailed. So I think they're all going to fall.
Detour
by the
volume.
end of by the end of the next episode.
You know that is yeah. I can agree with you there.
So the whole like Yang and Blake being separated thing is going to be a completely moot point. Quiet Message asked, "Is Raven going to come in for the Yang save finally?" No, I don't think so.
I mean, I would like her to, but like you only get one.
It's a tool in the
You
belt
say-
that they
you say
could possibly
this,
use for it.
But it's a tool.
But
Yes.
who knows if they actually will?
Yeah, you say that, media, but it is a possibility.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
it's
can't
definitely a
discount
possibility.
every possibility. You must always maintain constant vigilance against all possible threats to anything cool happening.
Then Quiet Message asked, "If she does, will Neo once again run away from the scary bird lady, especially after what she just pulled?" If Raven does save Yang, she's not going to have a way to get back up there because Yang is the only person in this entire like 3 realms that we are dealing with right now that Raven can make portals to. So if she does make a portal to Yang, she's going to get there and get out, and they're going to be back on patch. Like the Raven and Neo thing is not going to have that is like that is an impossibility. Like it is a possibility that yeah, whatever, Raven could like ex machina her way into another dimension with her portals for the just for the sole purpose of saving Yang, who she probably doesn't even know is in immediate danger right now. But even if that were to happen, she's not going to see Neo. She's not going to unless she formed a bond with RWBY in the whole 3 seconds of screen time they shared together in Volume 5. It ain't gonna happen.
You forget that Raven also had no idea that Yang was in immediate danger in Volume 2. How the fuck could she have possibly known about that weird train thing that was going on there?
That's why there's a popular theory that she can kind of sense certain stuff.
Well, apparently she always like kept her eye on Yang in bird form, and you can see like birds throughout the Mountain Glen stuff in Volume 2.
I saw a bird this volume, media, therefore Raven knows that Yang fell.
But that bird was
I'm sorry.
Crow.
I'm sorry, media. I saw a bird. You are deboomed.
If you see a bird, it's obviously Raven.
You know,
Bird seen, media debunked.
Actually, I have been informed that in fact the bird is the word.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
that is also true.
That was another comment on my post from what was it, Connor Hines. So Quiet Message's third question: Cinder dead next episode? I don't think so. I mean, if she's going to die this volume, obviously it'll have to be next episode. The next episode is the last episode of the volume. But I feel like it would be like a good note to go out on. But at the same time, I like having Cinder around. I don't like her very much as a character, but I like having her as this like physical threat for the heroes. That's just it's like herpes. You just can't get rid of it.
Oh god.
I don't think this is a good note for her to go out on. This is the crescendo. We're reaching like the maximum peak of the fucking guitar solo. Like they're spitting mad riffs on her right now. I don't want the song to end on this.
Yeah, she's
like
taking
let it
W's
die down
right
a little bit. Yeah.
Let her have the dub.
Final question from him: would it be cool to see Whitley actually come to help Winter? That's maybe. I don't know.
Look,
what's he gonna do though?
Yeah.
Look.
What's he gonna do?
I will tell you exactly.
Get in the way.
I will tell you. I will tell you exactly.
He's gonna throw some gold bars at Iron.
No. Okay, he's going to look. Whitley, we know he's got the Schnee blood. Okay, he's got glyphs. His glyphs are different from the other Schnee glyphs in that his main enemy that he has defeated so many times is money. So he can use the glyphs to summon cannons of money to shoot at Ironwood. Basically,
Whitley's
Whitley
like, I'll pay you to
is
fuck off.
yes. Yes. Whitley is akin to Gilgamesh from Fate, except that he has just forgone the middleman of it being a sword and just been like, yeah, it's just straight cash, guys.
And he doesn't self-fillet as much as Gilgamesh does. That's the other thing.
Oh no, he still self-fillets.
Not as much as Gilgamesh does. I mean, fucking come on, dude.
I mean,
All right,
it's hard
next
to do it, but I'm certain he could.
All right, next question. Aragon Dovahkiin asked, do you think that the volume will end on a relatively dark note? I think it kind of already has. Like, even when things do work out, they've lost a lot of people. They've lost a lot of civilians. Like, it's already
Yes.
kind of like the darkest volume. Sean Resendez asked 2 questions. Do you think Cinder will use the creation relic to make a portal for Watts to go through? I don't think she needs to.
Watts is creative enough to get himself out of there.
Not only that, but like they already have portals. Like
Yeah.
Watts just has to find one and go through it himself.
And like Watts also has like access to all the security cams. He could literally just look one up and be like, "Oh, there's a portal thing. I guess I'll go there," and then do that.
Yeah.
I mean, as for Cinder taking the creation relic, she will try to do that at least because she needs that for stuff. But like,
Her main target is Penny.
Yeah, like.
Yeah. So Cinder doesn't really want the relic. She wants the maiden powers. Like that's her goal.
Well, she also needs the relic to get the goal too. It would, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone. She's got like the Master of Salem. Salem wants the relics. She wants the powers.
Salem is the one who wants the relic. Like I think if Cinder just gets the maiden powers but loses the relic, she's not gonna care.
Just because she doesn't care doesn't mean you don't have an employer that cares about it. Like you might look. I'm just saying, like, while it's in front of her, she might as well try and get it too. There's no like.
There's no doubt she'll attempt, or she'll get either one or either, or hell, both.
She may very well.
So, like as you said, like even if she only gets like one of them, and it's like if she gets the maiden powers but doesn't get the relic, it's like just because she's happy doesn't mean her employer is gonna be happy. So that's Media mentioned something about that earlier. So like she's gonna be pissed regardless.
No, because the same thing happened with Volume 3. She got the maiden powers, didn't get the relic, and Salem didn't care because there's always next time.
I mean that was kind of a different situation, seeing as how the relic in that particular case is like hidden in some weird esoteric way that nobody fucking knows about. Like still hasn't been revealed.
Yeah, it's time.
So the second question is, who do you think will fall next? RWBY. I think. Well, RWBY is either going to fall next or she's going to fall last. I would like kind of the Sabaody Luffy thing where like she just loses everyone.
Yeah, I could see. I could definitely.
I'd be okay with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's if everyone falls, it's like, where do they go? Are they gonna go with some like weird fucking
we'll find
parallel
out next
dimension?
volume.
Yeah, we'll find out next volume.
How exactly can RWBY? How exactly can RWBY fall if she can fly though?
She can't fly. She can kind of hover a little bit.
She can outright fly, Media.
Planet Defeated asked, how do you feel about the inversion of the Power of Friendship speech Cinder gave? I don't think it was a Power of Friendship speech. It was just hey, we need to get stuff done speech.
Common goal.
Nice. I don't even remember it like all that well.
Light Dragoon 88 asked 2 questions. Do we know if Jin spelled Jin wrong? 3 questions per century is after the questions are used up, or just reset to 3 no matter how many questions are left. If it's the latter, all we know the lamp will have 3 questions ready to go again by tomorrow or next week. Now, I don't think that's the case. I think it's either it's after the 3 questions are used up, every 100 years, but the last time they were used, we know for a fact, was like 80 years ago.
I mean, you just ask a question every like 33 years and it's fine. Like, you don't even need to worry about it.
We know that the last time the Relic of Knowledge was really utilized was to find the relics leading into the Great War. At least that's the indication from Ozpin's flashback. And that was the last time he used all 3 questions. And that was less than 100 years ago. It's going to be another. I think the Relic of Knowledge is done for this entire series.
Yeah, the Relic of Knowledge is probably the trashiest relic. It's probably worst relic. Google way better than Relic of Knowledge. Like any kind of fucking search engine, really. Outright superior to Relic of Knowledge. Relic of Knowledge, kind of ultimate trash tier relic. It is below Relic of Creation, even though we've only seen 2 relics. So current S tier, Relic of Creation, current F tier, Relic of Knowledge. We'll see
Yeah.
where the other ones lie, but I'm going to say that Relic of Knowledge, trash tier relic, trash tier spirit in the relic, Jin,
I don't know,
trash
man.
tier
Jin's
genie
pretty
thing.
hot. Don't at me.
Nah, Jin isn't even hot. Jin doesn't have the gains that Ambrosius has. Okay, she has not hit the gym. She is a trash thought genie, ultimate worthless piece of shit relic. 0 out of any amount of numbers. Would never use.
The second question: do you think the teams have been better or worse to watch without Crow being there?
Way
They're
Better.
worse with Crow. They are worse with Crow. We already
Yeah,
answered
they're
that.
so much better without Crow. We've already been talking
Yeah.
about Crow needs to go away.
Yeah, I
This is
know.
what we've been saying.
Yeah.
How long have we been saying? Get rid of the adults. Let the kids actually make all the fucking decisions. It always is more interesting and better and more
Well,
compelling
they,
when the
they
kids themselves make the fucking decisions and
well
plans.
they already have made pretty much all of the decisions for a very long
Yeah,
time. It's just that
that's what I'm saying. But
the
I'm
other.
saying when Crow was making decisions, it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Now the
I mean,
kids are making decisions like these last 2 episodes. Like they did a pretty good job of like making this plan happen, and it's still falling apart. And it's way more interesting because they did it rather
yeah,
than Ozpin making the plan or Crow making the plan or anything like that. Right? I'm much more interested because
Yeah.
they did it. You know what I mean? Our heroes are the ones that made this plan, and even though it's falling apart, it's like okay, well they have to deal with it, not Crow, not Ozpin, the actual fucking characters that we give a shit about.
Yeah.
yeah.
Blade Charge asked, "How long do you
Oh,
think it will take?"
and Oscar's there too. I forgot about him, but the characters we care about plus Oscar.
How long do you think it will take for Yang to come back? Literally started next episode. I think, honestly. If not,
Nah.
we'll know more about that situation by the end of the
I mean,
finale.
to be honest, I would rather it be the beginning of next episode than like we find her at the beginning of the next volume. It's like we waited all that time just for her to be alive.
Yeah.
That would suck.
Yeah.
I'm still holding out for the 0.1% chance that she's actually dead, but she's not.
She's
I just wish. I just wish.
she's not gonna
She's
be
not
dead.
though. I
She's
know she's not. I'm just hoping,
Look,
but she's
all
not.
I'm saying is, most likely thing, we find her at the start of next volume, wandering about in an empty void, just shouting into it and saying nothing, and
Just
just
shouting
not knowing what.
autistically into the void.
Yes, and then we just follow her doing that for like half the entirety of the rest of the next volume. That's going to be where she's at for half that volume, just wandering around doing nothing.
The Arctic Union asked, "Do you think Cinder plans on letting Watts fall with Atlas?" I don't know how she could plan that when there's like 50,000 different ways Watts can get off of Atlas without Cinder even like acknowledging it.
I also don't know why she would plan that, seeing as how she's come around to the idea that, hey, this Watts guy might actually be competent and know what the fuck he's doing.
But she just loved the growth when they go from like when she goes from fucking like hating his guts and he's just like mocking her from across the table to like, like good on you.
Like, well, Watts in this episode literally hijacked an autopilot. He could literally just whip that ship
Yeah,
around.
he could hack her
You know,
into
I mean,
anything he
That's what he's
wants.
doing. He's bringing it to Atlas. Everyone's just gonna die at a fucking blast.
If Watts's fingers are within touching range of a keyboard, he is capable of hacking all the shit around him within like a infinite foot radius.
Yeah.
Watts is just the Nancy Drew of the show.
Stardust Warrior 16 asked, "On a scale of 0 to 10, how much did this episode surprise you?" The 7 or 8, maybe.
Yeah, it was a solid
About an
8.
yeah.
I'm going at
Uh,
least 9. I'm going 9 because I wasn't
um,
expecting that many people to die,
let's see.
and I
10,
wasn't expecting them to be able to raise the stakes again this well and actually make me like believe it and be interested in it. So I'm giving them a 9 on that, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I'm
yeah,
with an 8 because I kind of expected it. To what degree was less surprising,
Yeah.
but I still expected them to like do something. around.
Yeah, I'm just giving them a 9 for how well they did it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say like 6 because that number isn't chosen yet.
So last question. Up John 1 asked, has this episode made Cinder more of a threat? I think she was always a threat, to most people.
I mean, those civilians that fell off the side of the little plate thing definitely think she's a threat.
I'm pretty sure she
I don't think
probably
anything anymore.
also burnt some alive in that giant fire cyclone that she's got.
The other thing I liked about this episode too that I don't think got touched on was I like how Blake is having a hard time deciding of who she wants to punch. Do I want to punch Blake? Blake is like, do I want to punch Cinder? Or do I want to punch Neo?
She's mainly after Neo, but she's realizing like Cinder's the bigger threat right now.
And of course, Blake, being worthless in a fight, is incapable of doing anything to either, especially now that she is more than 20 feet away from her government-assigned blonde GF.
Yeah. So that's it for questions. We ready to wrap this up? Because I'm ready to wrap this up. I'm not sure. I got things to do tomorrow.
God, I can't wait for next episode.
All right. If you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell icon. Consider supporting my Patreon. Join the Discord. Follow me on Twitter, and have a nice day.
Yeah, everybody have a nice night.
Y'all have a good
Drink
night,
liquids.
guys.
Don't get caught in the sand. Put your socks on right so they don't have rocks in them. Cuddle up sweetly with your weighted blanket so that you don't toss and turn with your autism.
Make sure you cuddle your Watts Dakimakura.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. We'll hold that deep in our hearts.
It truly is.
I need to commission someone to do that.
Kiss your pet frog goodnight.
Watts wearing a Gargura hoodie, Dakimakura.
Oh
no! Sock has just gotten infinitely hard.
Oh man!
If your socks are hard, I'm sorry that there's a problem.
That mustache in that hoodie. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's 100% an ultimate
We're all
win.
about the simp.
All right. Have a good night, guys.